and help support the table. Once, rewards were so low in the early 60s, even for the making of upholstered chairs in ash and beech, that you felt like giving up, or you eked out by restoring furniture or polishing church seating. Now interested customers come from all over. It's a good way to be, and hopefully a good sign of the times. And children coming home from school look in at the window. The children are interested, and the Robinson brothers want them to be interested, even if the skills of marquetry, veneering and inlay have been by long tradition carefully kept secret. Charles deftly slips the delicate fret saw blade through one of the islands in the Veneer sandwich. The first fret saw blades were made in northern Italy in 1562. They were cut from clock spring steel and mounted in wooden bow frames. The blade is now tensioned like a violinist tuning his instrument to the correct pitch. Tom Joe made the swing saw, as it is called, an improved version of the Marquetry donkey, made it 8 years ago from a design he found in an old Victorian book. The bellows blows away the sawdust from the point of contact, giving a clear view of the cutting line. The magnifying glass helps at a tricky corner.
How's the sawing going?
Very good.
Is there much left to do?
Oh, 20 minutes should complete it.
It'll be a nice piece of work when it's finished.
Most of them usually are. Here's an angle where you could break a blade very easily. I broke one day last week. Now here is one at right angles to the blade. This is a difficult one to manoeuvre out. You've got to keep the pressure on the saw, keep it moving, then swing right round.
Looks awful, that.
Very awful. Now this is a complete roundabout turn. Yes, we got it quite good. Now, Ignatius, your turn.
The art of marquetry is very ancient indeed. The Egyptians were skilled in the use of veneers, and examples of their marquetry have survived to this day in their caskets. And later, monks in northern Italy kept the craft alive during the Dark Ages, and it was to reach a high point in France in the 18th century by craftsmen originally encouraged at the court of Louis XIV, the Sun King. A man in C. Muldoon once said that C. Muldoon was a land of milk and honey if you milked your own cows and kept your own bees. Charles Robinson is an excellent beekeeper. The wax from the comb from these hives makes polish for the wood. The honey is naturally eaten or sipped, whatever you do with honey.
Oh, good morning. Very good, very, very good.
There was always an air of great secrecy surrounding the various techniques employed in marquetry. But in a world in which craftsmanship is not so common, the Robinsons see no reason for hiding their unique talent, least of all from the young. The cut marquetry is placed in a tub of water to soak for 24 hours. Now the leaves can be carefully separated and the contrasts swapped, pale sycamore and dark mahogany. It would seem to be perfectly understandable why it takes 7 years' apprenticeship to this craft to become a true master. The apprenticeship rules were even more stringent in France in 1743, when the Paris Guild of Master Carpenters and Cabinet Makers admitted marketeers for the first time. Apprentices had to serve a 7-year apprenticeship, then a further 7 years as a journeyman marketeer, before being allowed to make their masterpiece for submission to the jury, where it faced approval or confiscation. Gummed paper is placed over the individual leaves to hold the veneers in place until they are required. Impact adhesive is applied to the back of the marquetry and to the chair back and allowed to become tacky. The motif, or lay-on as it is called, is carefully positioned on the chair back. The Veneer Hammer is a special marketeer's tool for rolling the veneer to get the best possible contact. In times gone by, when animal glue was used for this task, a sock of hot sand was placed on the work to maintain pressure when it dried, but modern impact adhesives have speeded up this process. Contrary to what one would expect, the motif is not recessed into the chair back. It is an optical illusion created by this all-important groove which frames the work. But as we shall see, recessed inlay does play its part. Now comes the sanding with fine grades of sandpaper. It is very easy to overdo the decoration, be it a picture, a Christmas cake, or marquetry on a piece of furniture. The marquetry should never be allowed to dominate the overall design, only enhance it. The carefully examining eye of the craftsman. Sand shading, or in this case, hot carborundum powder, is used to scorch the wood to get a graduated shading effect. The motif, a wild woodbine flower, a shell design, a graceful Grecian urn. On furniture, these motifs are described as applied marquetry, but in a panel as pictorial marquetry, and each individual piece has been cut out using a knife. And to bring us back to a sense of history, Lochhutter Castle and the lake around it. Tom Joe steps out to visit John P. Riley's farm in search of spindlewood, one of many traditional saw-cut cabinet woods used by marquetry craftsmen.